Welcome to the vault. Cops reveal Bryan Kohberger search warrant discoveries. Law and crime is the source. All commentary is posted to my community board via the YouTube queue. Thank you for joining me. New information has come to light pertaining to what was seized out of BK's apartment. We're going to dissect and chop up every bit of detail and what is to be expected first of summer when he goes back to court. Thank you for joining me. You're now listening to The Vault. Thank you.
We are learning more about what police seized from Bryan Kohberger's apartment the day that he was arrested for the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. I'm Anjanette Levy, and thanks for joining us here on Law and Crime. The search warrant for Bryan Kohberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington was unsealed just a short time ago. This came as a little bit of a surprise because this document was supposed to remain sealed until March 1st of this year. When sealing the document, the judge said he believed it could endanger the investigation or possibly the victims in this case, or possibly end the investigation early if the documents were made public, possibly tipping off the suspect. Bryan Kohberger, of course, was arrested in Pennsylvania at his parents' home on December 30th for the murders of Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin at their home on King Road in Moscow, Idaho, back on November 13th. For weeks, the community was terrified. They were frightened because it appeared a killer was on the loose and it looked like there weren't any suspects. But we later learned that police kind of had eyes on Bryan Kohberger at the beginning of or the middle of December. So let's take a look at what investigators actually seized from Bryan Kohberger's apartment when they executed that search warrant back on December 30th. The return for the search warrant says 1 nitrite glove was seized along with a Walmart receipt with 1 Dickies tag, 2 Marshall's receipts, a dust container from a Bissell Power Force vacuum, 8 possible hair strands, 1 Fire TV stick with cord and plug, 1 possible animal hair strand, and other possible hairs and a possible hair strand. 1 computer tower, 1 collection of a dark red spot was taken. That was collected without testing, we believe, for presumptive blood. 2 cuttings from uncased pillows of reddish or brown stains. It says the larger stain was tested. And finally, 2 top and bottom of mattress covered package separately, both labeled C, and that there were multiple stains, and 1 of them was tested. So we believe it's possible that some of these reddish brown stains, or at least 1 of them, could have contained blood. It doesn't explicitly state that. When applying for this search warrant, police said they were interested in anything in that apartment, including a knife or a sheath. We know from this that a knife was not located, and the sheath was actually found under the body or near the body of Maddie Mogen, according to other documents that have been filed in this case. Now, they've also said they were looking for any electronic evidence connecting Bryan Kohberger to the victims in this case, including the 2 surviving roommates. We don't know what Bryan Kohberger's possible connection could be to any of these victims. The attorney for Kaylee Gonsalves' family had told me that Kaylee did not know Bryan Kohberger, but he couldn't speak for the other victims in this case. I did get some screen grabs of an Instagram post, an Instagram account rather, that appeared to be linked to Bryan Kohberger on the day of his arrest. And that account was following both Kaylee Gonsalves and Maddie Mogen. The account was later deleted. We will continue to follow this story and bring you any new information. For Law and Crime, I'm Anjanette Levy.
Thank you, Anjanette Levy, for your commentary. So, a lot has been revealed in this information. I will go over all that information. One moment, please. Okay. It appears to me that Bryan, once again, is not a very smart person. He's not a very smart person. He's a dummy, matter of fact. And he is a cooked bird because he made too many mistakes. Why did he delete the account following Kaylee or any of the other girls? Why delete it? Curious. I will bring you said information pertaining to all of this. all that was found inside of the apartment. Next will be, what did they find at his parents' house? Did he take an iPad with him, a computer with him, laptop? What was found at the parents' house? I'm curious. We're going to go over everything pertaining to the police internship that he did not get. Also, the crime lab videos pertaining to assets. People brought that up. He had no dealings with that. He was not in the program for that. We're also going to talk about his DNA that he sent in through genetic testing. A neighbor has given commentary on that subject matter. And the first subject is going to be pertaining to what was taken out of the apartment. Unsealed now. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji, 129 Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome during the live. New York Post is our first source. Washington State University police recovered a possibly blood-stained mattress cover, human hairs, a glove, and a computer from University of Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger's apartment, according to a search warrant unsealed in Washington court on Wednesday. Police executed a search warrant at the 28-year-old PhD student's residence and office at Washington State University in Pullman on December 29th, the same day as Pennsylvania police and a SWAT team had raided his parents' house and taken him into custody in the early hours of the morning. According to the search warrant, the Washington police, one moment, please, having some difficulties. Oh, well. Trying to get my screen up. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hit the like button. Share this to other platforms. Thank you. Slow rolling here. Okay, everybody. Screen's kind of lagging. According to the search warrant, the Washington State University police also seized 2 cuttings from an uncased pillow with a reddish-brown stain, 1 nitrate-type black glove, 8 possible hair strands, a possible animal hair strand, and other evidence including possible blood stains, which were sent to a lab for testing, which could all potentially link Kohberger to the crime scene. Pictures of police removing items from the residence were exclusively captured by the Post. Police also found shoes with diamond patterned soles matching footprints found at the murder scene, as well as data compilations of information about the victims. Kohberger was subsequently charged with masterminding and carrying out the vicious November 13th killing spree in Moscow, Idaho, a 10-minute drive from his residence, which saw 4 defenseless students knifed to death as they slept. The FBI had earlier trailed Kohberger as he drove from Washington to his home state with his father for the holidays. Once there, detectives staked out and collected a sample of DNA from the family's trash, which matched DNA found on a knife sheath left at a crime scene, which gave the police the last piece of evidence they needed to issue an arrest warrant. It was later revealed police said they had zeroed in on Kohberger after identifying a car near the crime scene, which matched the description of his own car, a Hyundai Elantra, which he also used to drive back to Pennsylvania. They then obtained phone records, which placed him at the location of the murders on at least 12 occasions. The warrant the Washington University police prepared, which was signed off on by a judge, listed the things they were looking for, which included blood, other bodily fluid, human tissue, skin cells, items with those on them, knives, sheaths, or other sharp tools, including any dagger, dirk, sword, images of the victims, their roommates, and their home, clothes and data devices such as computers, phones, which could contain information about the victims or plans for murder. Kohberger has now been charged with 4 counts of murder over the deaths. Best friends Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, both 21, were stabbed while in the same bed on the 3rd floor of their house, while Xana Cornoto and boyfriend Ethan Chapin, both 20, were killed in a bedroom on the 2nd floor of the property. Kohberger is currently held in jail in Moscow. He has yet to enter a plea in the case and will not do so until his next court date in June. He has previously hinted through his lawyers he intends to plead not guilty and is eager to be exonerated. However, circumstantial evidence against him appears to be mounting, with any investigator close to the case telling people with an investigator close to the case, telling People magazine this week he had contacted one of the victims through social media in October. So did this person decide to come forward with this information because they knew the warrant was going to be unsealed? I'm curious about that. He slid into one of the girl's DMs several times, but she didn't respond, quote unquote, the anonymous source said. Basically, it was just him saying, hey, how are you? But he did it again and again, quote unquote. Although Bryan apparently sent a number of messages, the victim, which one was never identified by the source, never responded. NewYorkPost.com is the source for this information. Going to recap for anybody coming into the live last. What they were looking for in this warrant: blood, bodily fluid, human tissue, skin cells, items on them, knives, sheaths, sharp tools, including dagger, dirk, sword, images of the victims, roommates and their home, clothes and data devices such as computers, phones, which could contain information about the victims' plans for murder. Very interesting information. What they found: reddish brown stain, 2 cuttings from a pillow, nitrate type black glove, 8 possible hair strands, possible animal hair strand, and other evidence including possible blood stains which have been sent to the lab, which could potentially link Kohberger to the crime scene at 1122 King Road. Thank you for joining me. The smoking gun, besides the sheath and the touch DNA, now we have this is black glove. So what you have to ask yourself is this: Chris Madonna found a glove at the scene of the crime, he and his wife. What kind of glove was it? Was it a leather glove, cloth glove, or a nitrate glove? Why did they only find one glove? You can't order them in a box. And we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the shoes. Queen mentioned to you that possibly he did not throw away the shoes because Queen knows men, and we know that a lot of men are cheap. And they're not going to throw away shoes that they spent a nice amount of money on. He said to himself, I'm going to clean the shoes, wash them, pat dry them, put them in a washing machine, air dry them, stay woke. I told you he was not going to throw away the shoes. So I'm 1 for 1. As far as clothes, did he throw away his clothes? Or did he put them in the washing machine and wash them? They're black. Nobody's going to see the stains. If indeed the outfit was black that he wore, stay woke. Let's talk about this nitrate glove so you can get a better understanding what it is exactly. Queen did her homework. Sizes small to extra large, these gloves. Black nitro disposable nitrate gloves, 100 in a pack. And when you go to the site, first thing it says is home, knife making supplies, safety equipment. Black nitro disposable nitrate gloves, 100 pack, XS through XL. Don't you find that interesting? $54 on this website if you wanted to use this site for buying the gloves. It's called artisansupplies.com. The features: single-use, non-sterile medical examination gloves. Protects against unwanted or dangerous substances. Excellent puncture resistance. Now let's go there. Excellent puncture resistance. So how thick are these gloves exactly? Because in order for it to resist a puncture wound, biochemical hazards, one would have to say that the gloves were pretty thick. Please pay attention to the information. Excellent puncture resistance. That's number 3 on the list of the features for these types of gloves. Beaded cuff for easy donning and to prevent falling down. Ambidextrous. Excellent strength. Textured fingertips latex and odor free, keeps hands clean from dirt and other substances. So what would he say why he had this type of glove in his possessions? And as I said, on this website, Artisan Supplies, you're buying them in a box, which naturally that would be the best way to buy any type of surgical gloves, latex gloves. Everybody knows there's so many that come in a package or a box. $54 for 100 pack of S through XL. Applications. Please listen carefully to this information. Suitable for knife makers. Say it again, Queen. Suitable for knife makers, mechanics, engineering, hairdressing, tattoo studios, panel beaters, food handling, meat handling, medical, and dental industries. Bingo card. Bryan Kohberger, you have to be the dumbest MF walking and breathing. See, all in all, you talked that junk to that public defender in Pennsylvania, but you knew the bang was coming anyway when they pulled you over in Indiana. I don't care what those police officers say. You were scared shitless. You were scared when they woke you up in that house in Pennsylvania, and you were definitely scared of what they were going to find in your apartment. So it doesn't matter about a not guilty plea. I didn't do it. I'm going to exonerate myself. Why do you have these type of gloves, sir? You don't do anything but grade papers. Checkmate. Checkmate. You don't do anything but grade papers. So why do you need these type of gloves? Oh, I'm OCD. That will be your defense as well. I don't like touching things. What's wrong with just regular latex gloves? Carry a bunch in your pocket, briefcase, interchanging them out, throw them away, put on another pair of gloves. You all see where I'm going with this, right? Specifications. HACCP certified, registered with the TGA medical device class 1 and complies with AS-NZS 4011:1.2014. This is pertaining to these type of gloves. I'm sure many companies make them. This is by Artisan Supplies. Black nitro disposable nitrite gloves. This is the type of glove that was seized at Kohberger's apartment. Once again, the features of the glove type. Single-use, non-sterile medical examination gloves. Protects against unwanted or dangerous substances. Excellent puncture resistance. Beaded cuff for easy donning and to prevent falling down. Ambidextrous. Excellent strength. Textured fingertips. Latex and odor-free. Keeps hands clean from dirt and other substances. So frankly, these gloves are for people who work a vigorous type of profession, not a professor's assistant. So I'm going to ask Kohberger, if you're listening somewhere in that jail, why do you need these nitrite gloves when all you do is sit and grade papers and study? You don't need gloves to study in your own house. Bingo card. And you possibly wearing gloves out in public because you knew what you were going to do. I'm going to bring to this live stream all the information pertaining to you, hypotheses of why you committed this crime and what you left behind. As I said before, men are cheap. A lot of men are cheap. You kept the shoes. You didn't want to throw away the shoes. So they found shoes similar to the pattern at the door that's at where DM's door, because you didn't throw away the shoes. So what else did you keep? Did you keep the clothes? Number one. Where is the knife? The bloodstains found in your house, mattress cover, pillows. What happened? What are you bleeding from? Because why would you have blood on a pillow? Stay woke. Why would there be blood on a pillow? Were you stupid enough to have gotten blood in your hair and then you lied down because you didn't even go home and take a shower and wash your hair? Queen stays woke. What's on your computer. Evidence that you were watching the girls. So what exactly is on the computer devices pertaining to the children? The social media accounts, they have evidence that you followed one of the girls or all of the girls. You possibly were commenting under a fake profile that you then deleted. When did you delete that profile? I'd like to know that. The IG. You probably had alternate profiles, probably had alternate phones. Did he have burner phones? Because we see in this evidentiary material here and from the last affidavit, Kohberger was not smart at all. So I'd also like to know what was seized at his parents' house in Pennsylvania. What did he take there? Where are the clothes? Where's the knife? He left behind the shoes. The glove that was found by Chris Madonna, is that the same glove matching this nitrite glove? And I would assume you'd have more gloves because they come in a box. Thank you for joining me. Very stupid person. He is indeed a cooked bird because he's a fool. No type of common sense. And to kill a person anyway is wrong unless it's self-defense. You just killed these kids for nothing and left behind evidentiary material. The dog hair, perhaps. Is that the dog hair from the house? Murphy. Did you take in dog hair back to the house? Take in hair from the girls because you were stabbing them. Naturally, they were fighting for their life. Did you take home some of their hair back to your home? Also inside of your car. Did they find hair strands from the victims in your car? Dog hair in your car? Because now we have to ask, what did you do with your clothes? Just a fool. No forethought at all. One moment, please. Thank you all for joining me. Well, it is interesting. You're right. As soon as I saw this information, I said, well, Chris Madonna found a black glove. I always wondered what type of glove was it? Leather? Cotton? So what type of glove did Chris Madonna allegedly find? Cotton? Nitrite? Disposable what? Rubber what? What evidence did he take out of the house to his car and his apartment? Did he keep the clothes? Hairs found. Will they belong to the victim? How are you going to explain long blonde and brown strands of hair in your car in your house that belong to the decedents? You really messed up. You kept the shoes, another mistake. Leaving those gloves behind, another mistake. If indeed that glove was left behind, another mistake. Keeping data of these kids' whereabouts, social media profiles, mistake. Taking your phone with you 12 times to their house between June and November, if we ought to believe this went on from June. I thought it was August, getting difference of opinions between August and June. Because if he got there in August, then one would say he's been stalking him by social media before he even touched down. I'd like verification on the timeline. Because there's difference in opinions between when he started stalking the kids. We're going to go over everything pertaining to this crime. Nitro disposable gloves used basically for people who work in a dangerous biohazard type field, which he does not. So one would say, why do you need that type of glove? And nobody's going to believe you're that OCD. You would spend all this money on a nitrite glove because you use those gloves for those crimes in Moscow, Idaho. So now we got to ask, when did he purchase the gloves? Did he purchase clothes? They have receipts from Marshall's, different stores. Did he purchase clothes specifically for the crime? The weapon, the gloves, the clothes. Where are the clothes? Where's the knife or weapon? The shoes left behind foolishly. We're going to go over everything that's been hypothesized that has not been factual. He applied for the police internship before the Idaho killings affidavit. Accused quadruple killer Bryan Kohberger applied for an internship with his local Washington State Police Department in the weeks before the University of Idaho killings. Kohberger, PhD student criminology at Washington State, wanted to intern with the Pullman Police Department in fall 2022 semester, according to the affidavit made public on that Thursday. And in an essay he submitted with his application, the alleged killer wrote that he wanted to assist rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger didn't seem to get the job. One of the officers who interviewed him handed his application records over to Moscow cops investigating the November 13th murders of 4 college students at their off-campus home. Pullman, where WSU is located, is just 10 miles from the University of Idaho, Moscow, Idaho campus. Kohberger, who's been charged with 4 counts of murder, had a years-long interest in working with law enforcement. A former teacher at his Pleasant Valley High School in Pennsylvania told the Daily Beast that Kohberger was passionate about criminal justice. I thought he would become a police officer or correctional officer, the unidentified teacher said. He liked to watch movies about police and asked me the next day if I'd seen it. It was more than a hobby for him. He was always asking questions. Now, this is somebody speaking of him back in high school, that he wanted to be in the law business. As we know, he never did. What happened with that? Did he try to enter the academy, police academy? An image of Kohberger's during his sophomore year obtained by Fox News shows the accused killer doing a push-up while wearing Army uniform in law enforcement class. During his last year of high school, Kohberger also took criminal justice courses at his local vocational school to potentially become a cop, his former friend Nick McLaughlin said. That was also the same year Kohberger picked up boxing and an aggressive attitude and began bullying classmates, McLaughlin said. Kohberger went on to earn a psychology degree from Northampton Community College in 2018, criminal justice master's degree at DeSales University, Center Valley, Pennsylvania in 2022. The affidavit also made a point to mention a survey Kohberger posted to Reddit while he was studying at DeSales. New York Post is the source. So he did not become a cop. He did not get the job for the internship at the Pullman, Washington Police Department. Thank you for joining me. Next information is pertaining to the university having access to crime videos. This person here, Mr. Kohberger, had no dealings with the crime lab or the program. Thank you for joining me. He was a PA assistant. He does not need surgical gloves and medical gloves to grade papers. That's common sense. Accused killer Bryan Kohberger's PhD program at Washington State University has access to a crime lab database that includes police body cam videos, live streams from surveillance cameras. A source at Washington State University, where Kohberger was a student in criminology, told Fox News Digital that his doctoral program is privy to the valuable trove of investigative videos. It maintains a complex social interaction CSI lab, which provides graduate students with access to live streams, crime scene videos obtained by police agencies, according to the outlet. The source, who has direct knowledge of the program, said the materials could have allowed an unauthorized person to view unredacted crime scene images and videos using controls that could zoom in on faces. The university told Fox News Digital that Kohberger was not part of the program, but students can apply for access to the CSI lab by filling out a questionnaire online, according to the report. I don't think that any amount of positive research that has come out of this department is worth the risk of letting a wolf in the henhouse, the source told the outlet. They are all obsessed with crime and criminals. You'd have to have a PhD in criminology, but sometimes that obsession goes to other levels and attracts this kind of madness, the insider added. The CSI Lab and Division of Governmental Studies and Services Research Entities are located on the Pullman campus, Fox Digital said. Several police agencies share body cam video with the CSI Lab database, including the Pullman Police Department, according to the Insider. WSU spokesperson Phil Wheeler told Fox News Digital that the murder suspect never obtained entry to the programs. To be clear, Bryan Kohberger never had access to any footage from the complex social interaction lab at Washington State University, told the outlet. Access to that facility is strictly controlled. All research assistants must complete a background check, FBI Criminal Justice Information Services Level 2 certification, be fingerprinted by the FBI, and sign a confidentiality agreement in order to enter the facility, he said. But the source claimed to have direct knowledge of multiple individuals who have not gone through the vetting or training to enter the facility and work as part of their duties, including our technical support staff. Police in nearby Moscow, where the 4 University of Idaho students were killed on November 13th, told Fox News Digital that the agency does not share its body cam videos or any live streams with the researchers at WSU. Meanwhile, the Insider also expressed, getting behind here, concerns about the advanced study of crime in academia. I've always been skeptical of the research this department has done, especially the folks that don't go on to solve real-world crime and law enforcement, but stick around in academia and live and breathe this stuff on taxpayer dollars, the source told Fox News Digital. And what does it really amount to? Basically just neutering police more and more every day. It's just sickening after all this, the Insider added. Kohberger, 28, was arrested last month in stabbing deaths of Kaylee Gonsalves, 21, Madison Mogan, 21, Xana Kernodle, 20, Ethan Chapin, 20, at an off-campus home. The suspect, who has not yet entered a plea to 4 counts of murder and 1 count of felony burglary, is expected back in court on June 26. So he never made it into the police department to gather data, and nor was he a part of the program at Washington State University with the crime lab. You have to be vetted, fingerprinted by the FBI, go through a level 2 certification through the FBI. That's the end of that conversation. Search warrant of his apartment. Information now has been released to the general public. Why did they release it now? Curious. Was he stalking all of the girls, including the ones who survived? Because you have to ask yourself still, even now, if he went down to the first floor with all this new information coming out, he was gathering data on these ladies. So he had to have known that they all lived together because they took pictures together. Posted a picture of all of them. Kaylee did a day before the murders. So he could see he's following under a fake name. He could see all the people together. He could see them standing right outside the house, taking in that said photo of all the house occupants, including Ethan Chapin. He knew who lived in the house. The issue is how are 2 living? Because if he's following them, he's listening to live streams, he's looking at photographs, he's found out where they live. He had to have known about the 3-level house because he was there 12 times. He has a visual of the house. They have him there at 404, maneuvering in the street. So he knows of the house. He knows that it has 3 levels. You count the windows. He's probably drove up on the street behind the house, getting an area view of the kids hanging out. And also, I wondered if the times the police went to the house in August and September for noise complaints, was he in view of those interactions? Very interesting information. Bringing you everything pertaining to Kohberger and his livelihood. The last information is also by the New York Post. If you need verification, please check out the New York Post. Bryan Kohberger sent DNA for genetic testing to explore ancestry. Oh, wow. What a dummy. I've never seen anything like it. Just an utter fool. The things that are coming out about him as far as evidentiary material, he obviously just wasn't smart. Let me see what this article is saying here. So here's part of a rap song. I'm stuck in the future, but I've never looking at the effing present. Keep it up. Act like you're all that. Here's a cookie too. And Desert Eagle equals going louder than my mother effing beagle. This is insane. I don't hear any sound on this thing.
No sequel. Maybe love one's crime like some seagull. Just my mind is pissed. My mind is pissed. My mind is pissed and I keep running. Why is this? When I hit it, always seems stunning. Always gentle giant, no defiance, all built in alliance. And still think that I am peasant. I stuck in the future, but I'm never looking at the fucking present. Keep it up, act like you're all that. Here's a cookie too in a present. Led from a desert eagle, eagles going louder than my motherfucking beagle. And you're like you get no sequel. Maybe love one's crime like some seagulls. You are not my equal, you are equal, but I'm feeble. And now I'm going regal. Don't with us.
I'm assuming that's supposed to be Kohberger rapping. That's what it has in this video, in this article, January 18th, uploaded. Very scary. Bryan Kohberger told a fellow grad student that he explored his ancestry by submitting DNA for genetic testing, which could shed light on how investigators use forensic genealogy to zero in on the accused quadruple murderer. The Washington State University PhD candidate, who was charged with murdering the gruesome deaths of 4 University of Idaho students, mentioned to a classmate living in the same on-campus housing complex in August that he took a DNA test, the Idaho Statesman reported. 1 second. Kohberger, who was a student in the university's criminology department. 1 second. It's jumping off. I hate these articles because they don't keep the content. Okay. Let me start over. He explored his ancestry by submitting DNA for genetic testing, which could shed light on how investigators use forensic genealogy to zero in on the accused quadruple murderer. Washington State University PhD candidate who was charged with murdering the gruesome deaths of 4 University Idaho students mentioned to a classmate living in the same on-campus housing complex in August that he took a DNA test, the Idaho Statesman reported. Kohberger, who was a student in the university's criminology department, asked whether the neighbor could identify his ancestral background, which the man guessed was Italy, the student told the paper. But Kohberger responded that he was actually of German descent. He talked about his ancestors. He had some sort of DNA test. I don't know how he got to that point. It was just interesting to him, the neighbor told the Statesman. The paper noted that the detail could shed new light on the reports that authorities used DNA evidence to home in on Kohberger as a suspect in the brutal November 13th killings near Moscow, Idaho. A surveillance team that tracked Kohberger to Pennsylvania, apparently extracted DNA from the scene, ran it through a public database, and used genetic genealogy techniques to connect the sample to the student through his family members, CNN has reported. What most likely happened is that the crime scene was a mess and there was DNA evidence left all over the place, Pete Yamix, a security consultant and former FBI agent, told the Post recently. So what they did was retrieve all the DNA evidence they could and analyzed it. Using the technique, investigators first identified the DNA of the victims and then start looking for DNA of someone who should not have been there, he said. So I guess that's where his father comes in. In probes like the Idaho massacre, the DNA samples are often put through the combined DNA index system, or CODIS, the national DNA database maintained by the FBI, Yamik said. Kohberger's arrest record indicates he left unidentified murder weapons, tan leather sheath, knife sheath at the scene of the murders. The Idaho State Lab identified male DNA on the sheath's button clasp, which was later linked to the suspect after genetic materials was retrieved from the trash outside his family's home in Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, the neighbor also revealed that the Moscow detectives contacted him after they found his cell phone number in Kohberger's phone. Very interesting. He said authorities asked him how we met each other, what was his personality, these kind of things, but declined to go into further detail. The neighbor said he also provided the detectives with a screenshot of a text thread between the two men. The screenshot reviewed by the statesman included a phone number with an Eastern Washington area code. Hey neighbor, how is your semester so far? Read a text from September 21st that appeared to be from Kohberger, the paper reported, adding that the neighbor said he was too busy to reply. Very interesting. University of Idaho students Kaylee Gonsalves, 21, Madison Mogan, 21, Xander Kernodle, 20, Ethan Chapin, 20, were found stabbed to death in their off-campus home November 13th. A preliminary status hearing for Kohberger has been set for June 26th. So what I find interesting is that he has your phone number. Did you give it to him or not? Or did he just Google you like he Googled everybody else and got your damn telephone number? Why didn't you respond when he said, hello, neighbor? I'm curious. Is it because of his awkwardness, his weird conversations, the neighbor didn't want to respond to him? See, all these little things will give you some type of clues to who Kohberger is. Up today, down tomorrow. And yes, in this New York Post article, you hear Kohberger rapping, talking about being, I don't know what the hell he was talking about, Beagle, Eagle. Signs that somebody was tainted even in the rap song. And we know a lot of rap songs these days are more harsh, a harsh reality of street life, street mentality. But you hear him, who I don't believe has had a street life or raised in the streets. I don't think he had drug dealing parents. But you can hear the tone in the rap song. He's tainted. He's upset. He doesn't like how he's being treated. So his problems have been going on a long time. He's had issues since grade school. You have one friend saying he was teased in grade school. Then he goes to high school. He's heavy set. He still has problems. He loses weight by the end of the high school year. He then becomes a bully. The ball was set in motion of a very sad individual who then became a killer, alleged killer. He's a cooked bird, in my opinion. Leaving the shoes behind. Black glove behind. A glove used basically for people who handle heavy material, biohazard material. Knifers, welders, tattoo artists, that type of business. People who don't want to get, certain chemicals and things on their hands. He grades paper, so he's not doing anything specific to need to wear no nitrite gloves. Come on, get serious. And if he's worried about touching somebody's paper because they're nasty, he could have worn regular gloves. Regular latex gloves. Not the nitrite, because I explained to you earlier in this live what those gloves consist of and their purpose. Please go back to the beginning of this video if you need verification of what the gloves' purposes are used for. In the case with Kohberger versus these kids, it shows me that he had a plan. And he deliberately bought these gloves as not to cut himself. So did he cut himself? Blood at the house on the pillows, the mattress cover. Where is that blood coming from? He's not a girl, wouldn't have a menstrual cycle. Does he get nosebleeds? He cut his finger, hand, leg, cut himself shaving, bled on his pillows, bed. Students say he was coming in disheveled. So if you're coming in disheveled, that means you're not going to be shaving, you're not going to be combing your hair to bleed accidentally. What will the family members have to say now, parents, sisters, of the evidentiary material seized from the apartment? Blood on his personal effects, shoes left behind with the same pattern as the pattern at the door of DM. Nitrite glove found. Data consisting of the victims. Did he take pictures of them? Blow up pictures. Everything you do on your computer shows what you searched last. Same thing with your cell phone. You go into your Google search when you get ready to search something, it'll show what you last searched. So he possibly was pulling up anything he could on these kids, going on their profiles, waiting for a notification that they went live or they posted a picture. If you have your notifications on IG, Facebook, you get a notification that somebody just posted a post, picture, so on and so forth. But what's interesting, you hear in this commentary, he deleted his profile of one of the girls. Why is that? When did he delete the profile? Got a feeling he did it right after he killed the girls, because he knew eventually the crimes were going to be investigated and they're going to look into the girls' profiles and see who likes what and who said what on their IG account, TikTok, etc. He knew that. And he did not want to have his profile on anything liking or following the girls. But as you see, there's no hiding and dodging behind your devices, your Google searches. It's in the phone, it's in your hard drive. It's not going anywhere. Just because you erase it, erase your comments, erase your the Google search engine, you erase following somebody, you erase your profiles, it's still in your computer, it's still in your phone. And that's the thing about him that's so interesting, that he's that stupid, that he has book sense, but not enough sense to know agents can go into your phone and retrieve all information, pictures, trash. It's all in the phone. May take a little time getting it out, but they get it. They can get it. They have access to get it. Let's go to Nancy Grace. I'm going to play the last little bit of her recent live stream, her podcast, and we're going to chop up what type of person could commit such crimes. The mentality of a person that would do this. Thank you for joining me. You're now listening to The Vault. One moment, please.
You know, he would do these odd experiments. questionnaires, and this was just another one of his bizarre experiments with human guinea pigs. Or was he so immersed in the world of murder that it consumed him?
I think you just explained the whole motivation right there. He was immersed in the world of murder, but let me roll out one simple fact here. There are 8 factors that are associated with serial killers. When you look at their history, childhood abuse and neglect, torturing animals, I could go on, but one factor is voyeurism. Almost all serial killers stalk their victims, and they are voyeurs, meaning they're like peeping toms. And they don't just look and, scroll TikTok and Instagram. They look and masturbate, Nancy. Let's just be honest here. They are in a sexual frenzy while they are stalking their victims. That is it right there. So the crime began last June. It wasn't just when he was plunging a knife into his victims. That was just the cherry on the ice cream sundae right there. The crime started in June when he selected these 4 victims. Victim selection is so important to serial killers. That's where the excitement is. Watching, stalking, looking, masturbating, peeping, learning everything about the victims, inserting themselves into their crime. And it was during this time that he put out these strange, odd questionnaires, wondering, asking even a prison population, what were you thinking before, during, after the crime? How did you engage in victim selection? Because he was engaging in victim selection. So while we might find semen at the crime, I think what we're going to find is all the sexual activity and motivation occurred before the crime. And then killing them was just like the final coup de grace. That was the end of it. So this is a sad thing about this case, is the crime went on for months and months and months, and there was no way to detect it, and there was no way to have detected it. We're just putting the pieces together after the fact. And just a quick comment about the poor roommate who saw him with the bushy eyebrows and the athletic build. Yes, she's just a child. She had no idea. She didn't know what we know now. She had no way to put the pieces together. She's just a little girl who shut her door and was used to people coming in and out of that house, because remember, this is a college town, so kids come in all hours of the day or night partying, and even just sitting up on their beds and talking. And yes, she was scared, but it was 4 a.m. Of course, she locked the door and went to bed. That is no surprise.
All right. Speaking of DM, she was scared. I guess. I don't know. Was she scared? If you were scared, why not call 911? Different people entering out of a house. No big deal.
Dale Carson at DaleCarsonLaw.com. Dale, I want you to take a listen to Judge Megan Marshall, the Lottie County Magistrate, in our Cut 250A.
Count 2 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13, 2022, in Lake County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. The maximum penalty for this offense, if you were to plead guilty or be found guilty, is death or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
To Dale Carson, I don't know if you've ever worked in any death penalty cases, but the law is very clear based on case precedent. It's not in the Constitution, but it is.
Sorry about that commercial. I want to hold that for just a second. Angry Mimi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. I want to say this before I let you speak. The people entering out of the house, because people want to assume they know what she was thinking, not thinking, DM. This is the reason why it was a bad setup to be living in that house. And I want to keep saying this. And I would say this even if there was never a murder that took place. You will be held accountable for anything that goes on in a house. And you saw that with the body cam from officers August and September. Why should there be different people coming to the door every time there's a party? Somebody's playing loud music. Somebody's got to run to the door. This guy got to go to the door. This one got to go to the door. You could tell those girls were probably in the house that time when they went, and those boys answered. This was a bad setup. Period.
Agreed.
I would never live in a house with that many people because somebody's got to stand account for anything that pops off in that house. And you can't just keep using the excuse, well, they're young, they're not thinking, but this is how stuff goes awry. It's because somebody's got to stand account for whatever goes on in that house. And the fact that people just walking in, running around, going from landing to landing in your house when you sleep, eat, bathe, your valuables are there. That's the very reason why this was a bad idea. You cannot assume these kids wouldn't have done something to you. Even though Kohberger is older, a few years older than them, several years, excuse me. He lived in another town. It's still principle. You don't know people. And having different people running in and out of your house is a bad idea. Because if anything goes wrong with these people in the street or yourself, you're now bringing that bullshit back to your house. And people need to wake up and see this, I call it almost like gangster living. All these people crowded up in a house together is a bad idea because they go out here and do something, that trouble comes back. Here you are walking around in your nightgown and shorty shorts, somebody banging on the door, you open it, they're going to just blow your brains out as soon as you open the damn door. Don't care who opens the door. And there's a crime that just happened somewhere where it looks like it's a hit on a family and it's 6 people dead? So now they got to try to figure out why somebody killed all these people in a house. You got a bunch of people probably dead off of one person's actions. And it's not to say that these kids deserve to die, but that was a bad setup because different people just walking through a house, you could just be coming out to shower. Think about that. And you just, some guy walking by drunk or, oh, I was looking for such and such. And then you startled like, oh, well, she's upstairs or she's on the 2nd floor. And all they had to do was just push you in your room and assault you. Go ahead, Angry.
Well, you all valid points. Absolutely.
Yes.
But
That was a recipe for disaster, all those people living in the house. And especially if you're immature and you don't have enough sense to lock your own damn door. A house that big, you're not even locking any doors? Who does that?
Well, I agree that maybe young people do it, but I know older people who do it too.
Listen, there's all kind of people that don't lock their doors.
Yes. It's not just young people.
No, I know all kind of people that don't lock the doors. They leaving keys out over here under the mat, under the flower pot. You don't know who's watching you put a key under a mat. Think about that. You put a key in a pot, somebody's looking out their window. Next thing you know, everything in your house is gone.
That's right. That's right.
What do you have to say about this unsealed warrant and what was found in the house?
Okay. I got to say something about that young lady who was talking about DM and how she's just a young girl. And, people were coming in and out of that house 24/7. Well, okay. Then why the hell was she startled? Why was she scared? Why did she lock her door? Why was she scared frozen if she's used to seeing people? Why? To me, that's incorrect. Either she's used to seeing people and she was just wondering what was going on and she wasn't really scared. Or 2, she's not used to seeing people at that time of the morning or any other time of the morning, and she was scared, frozen.
Well, let me ask you something then, since you brought the subject up. Do you believe she was scared or not, ma'am?
No. I don't.
Okay.
I think it's an excuse. Mm-hmm. I think she is used to seeing people, maybe people she wasn't expecting, and she was like, yeah, okay, and went back to sleep, but she feels guilty.
Well,
so she has to say something.
We hope she feels guilty.
Right.
We would hope under the circumstances, the brutal circumstances, that she would feel guilty. But you can't have it both ways because, as I
Exactly.
just said, you're in this house with these people. You know the dynamics of the people. You've seen how they live. So it's your choice to continue on living in this house. Because I frankly, if that wasn't my type of mode of living, I wouldn't have signed up for that. Nobody forced anybody to go live in that house. So it's a choice for everybody to live in a house with a bunch of people. But if you were the type that you like your doors locked, you don't really care for partying every weekend and random people walking in your house, you should have bowed out and went and found you somewhere else to live. I wouldn't have. Me personally, I would have never signed up for that many people in a house. I don't care if they partied or not. I just wouldn't have done it because somebody's got to have company. Somebody's going to want friends over, family over. And if you're a type of person that's private and you like your privacy, then it's not going to be the life for you seeing people running around, because common sense will tell you 5 different people, that's 5 sets of friends, 5 sets of family members, 5 sets of drama.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no way. No way. I got my first apartment when I was 17, and I lived by myself because I didn't want other people's drama, and I didn't want that. I didn't want people being there.
Yeah.
So I'm floored at a couple of things. The fact that Bryan Kohberger is so stupid, he sent his own DNA.
Yeah. I don't know which is worse. The sheath, the DNA, you left the shoes behind. So we're gonna chop all that up. He sends his own DNA to the ancestor. I guess he's trying to find out, who he's from, who he's made of. So then you got to ask yourself, when did he decide to start stalking the girls? Because all that's going to be in the timeline. When he sent in the DNA, what's information on his phone and computers pertaining to the girls, and when did he put the plan in motion to go kill the kids? Because only a fool would give their ancestry DNA and then go kill somebody months later. Thank you, Kim.
Is he trying to be a martyr for the cause?
I don't know.
Look at all this that I sacrificed myself for.
It almost made me think he wanted to get caught. But if you want to get caught, you would go ahead and plead guilty and be done with it, and then let everybody know who you are and why you did it.
However, he's a narcissist, so maybe he wants it to drag out so he can, get all his glory.
Well, he's getting his glory. Naturally, this is a very baffling case to many. But what we always have to remember, it's only baffling because it was 4 at a time. People get killed like this all the time.
True.
This is not nothing new. It just happened to be 4 college kids in a house. But let's be truthful. Somebody then got murdered yesterday. Somebody died the day before. Somebody had a home invasion in Ohio or Chicago. Somebody was stalked and watched, and the person lied in wait for them or broke into their house, their condo. It happens every day.
It does. But we don't have 4 in one house stabbed to death every day who happen to be young kids.
Yeah, I believe that's the only reason why it's such a hot topic, hot story.
And then I think because of the perpetrator, because of that, adds to it. I mean,
naturally, we didn't know who the perpetrator was.
No, but it sure as heck is interesting.
Well, what's interesting about
it? The mystery of, and I got to ask you this: how did he kill 4 people in such a short amount of time, so brutally? Well,
let's be truthful. He's in the road at 4:04 outside of the house doing something, probably trying to decide where he wants to park. So let's say he entered the house in the next minute or two, 4:05, 4:06, because he's got to be able to get in there, walk around, however he got in. So let's say 4:06. From 4:06 to 4:20, that's like a 14-minute window. You do the rest. I mean, you're using a large knife. If you're vigorously stabbing, it won't take long for you to stab one, boom, stab another one, walk down the stairs, go around the corner, or you confronted them. There's a struggle. Well, less than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
In and out.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me. And so I find it fascinating that somebody can kill that many people with a knife
Yeah, but see, you gotta think about the time of day. He knew when to kill them. He didn't kill them during the day when they're sitting around talking and laughing and playing games and stuff, because somebody would have a better chance of getting out.
True.
So it's not like 5 people sitting in a room, and he was able to stab all 5. Possibly not. Somebody would have some sense to say, "I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going to run."
What do you think about the fact that they have records of him messaging one of the kids on Instagram?
Yeah.
And then it started back, was it August or June?
I don't know. They go back and forth with the months. See, we need to know the exact month, because this is going to show if it was June. I don't think he was there in June. I've got information I've brought to this network that says he didn't get there till August. So how could he be stalking somebody in June if he's not even in the state of Washington? So that needs to be clarified. Because that'll make you think that he was stalking him from Pennsylvania. And I've said that.
Yes, you have. That would mean he would have to be prepared to apply to go to that school in Washington.
Yeah. Well, he probably already got approved way before June. Because, you're going to apply ahead of time for schools. You don't apply like a month before. You usually apply months ahead.
Right.
A semester ahead. So let's say he had already applied a semester ahead, January or something like that of 22. So who's to say he didn't start just researching the town, things about the town, neighboring towns, because the schools are in conjunction, even though they're just 15 minutes away in a state over, they're still in conjunction. He may have spotted them long before he even got there, and I won't doubt that he probably did.
Yeah,
because he's a wacko.
I agree with that. I definitely think that's a huge possibility.
I think he was studying them way before he touched down, and I also believe he deliberately applied to Washington State to commit the alleged perfect crime. That's my opinion.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that his parents actually have known, or his sisters, that there was something wrong with him?
Well, they knew something was off with him. Your family knows you better than anybody. Do they think you were killed? That's a totally different thing. But off, yes. They knew he was off.
Well, you'd have to know he was off if you go over and ask a neighbor to have his kid be his kid's friend. Hey, you come over and play with Johnny.
Grown. Yeah, he's grown, and that was baffling. To even ask a person that for a 28-year-old.
Yeah.
I just think it's sad that anybody would have to ask another adult to friend another adult.
It's so weird, too. Can you imagine your parents doing that?
But that goes to show you that they know their child. That's why I always said they know their kid. Do they know that he would kill somebody? Possibly not. But they knew that something was wrong with him. He had social issues. So my thing is, how is this going to work out for him if he hadn't killed the kids? How are you going to navigate through the world when you don't even know how to talk and hold a conversation? You don't know how to relate to people. You're going to have a hard time. And he was going to have a hard time anyway in the work field. Let's be truthful. He was going to have a hard time when he actually had to go to a job, clock in 9 to 5. He was going to be a problem. And I'm telling you, there were going to be many complaints against Kohberger if he lived a regular life. He was going to have problems. Because anything would have set him off, popped off. He probably would have said some crazy stuff to people. He would have been fired. And he really would have been angry. So he was going to probably kill somebody anyway. Because his mindset is jacked up. He's angry.
I have not had a chance to watch all of the Nancy Grace.
Yeah, I only played the ending of it because I thought I want to talk about that. Was he a voyeur? Was he the type that watched women, peeped through windows, got off? Because as someone has said before, just because the girls weren't penetrated does not mean this was not a sexual crime. He could have actually, been, as they said in his commentary, ejaculating, watching their pictures, looking at their pictures, their live streams. He could have ejaculated while killing the kids. He could have masturbated afterwards. You don't know because nobody was there to see what happened. But you got to count the fact that this man is not currently dating anyone. He's not having sexual relations, allegedly. He's not even possibly soliciting women for sex or prostitution. So he's got to get off at some point because he's human.
Okay.
Well, what do you feel, since you're asking me questions? The evidence, Mimi, the glove, the black glove, it's a nitrite glove. I brought you information to what type of glove it is. It's an industrial glove used for people that work in basically tattoo shops, knifers. It's strange. Why would you have that kind of glove?
I think it's. I didn't get to hear that part because I was late coming in.
Okay, well, let
So
me go.
I apologize for that.
Well, I'm just gonna play Law and Crime again because I'm not about to read all that stuff anymore.
I know that, and I apologize.
That's okay. One moment. Let me mute
Okay.
this. Hold on.
Of 4 University of Idaho students. I'm Jeanette Levy, and thanks for joining us here on Law and Crime. The search warrant for Bryan Kohberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington was unsealed just a short time ago. This came as a little bit of a surprise because this document was supposed to remain sealed until March 1st of this year. When sealing the document, the judge said he believed it could endanger the investigation or possibly the victims in this case, or possibly end the investigation early if the documents were made public, possibly tipping off the suspect. Bryan Kohberger, of course, was arrested in Pennsylvania at his parents' home on December 30th for the murders of Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin at their home on King Road in Moscow, Idaho, back on November 13th. For weeks, the community was terrified. They were frightened because it appeared a killer was on the loose and it looked like there weren't any suspects. But we later learned that police kind of had eyes on Bryan Kohberger at the beginning of or the middle of December. So let's take a look at what investigators actually seized from Bryan Kohberger's apartment when they executed that search warrant back on December 30th. The return for the search warrant says 1 nitrite glove was seized along with a Walmart receipt with 1 Dickies tag, 2 Marshall's receipts, a dust container from a Bissell Power Force vacuum, 8 possible hair strands, 1 Fire TV stick with cord and plug, 1 possible animal hair strand, and other possible hairs and a possible hair strand. 1 computer tower, 1 collection of a dark red spot was taken. That was collected without testing, we believe, for presumptive blood. 2 cuttings from uncased pillows of reddish or brown stains. It says the larger stain was tested. And finally, 2 top and bottom of mattress covered package separately, both labeled C, and that there were multiple stains, and 1 of them was tested. So we believe it's possible that some of these reddish brown stains, or at least 1 of them, could have contained blood. It doesn't explicitly state that. When applying for this search warrant, police said they were interested in anything in that apartment, including a knife or a sheath. We know from this that a knife was not located, and the sheath was actually found under the body or near the body of Maddie Mogen, according to other documents that have been filed in this case. Now, they also said they were looking for any electronic evidence connecting Bryan Kohberger to the victims in this case, including the 2 surviving roommates. We don't know what Bryan Kohberger's possible connection could be to any of these victims. The attorney for Kaylee Gonsalves' family had told me that Kaylee did not know Bryan Kohberger, but he couldn't speak for the other victims in this case. I did get some screen grabs of an Instagram post, an Instagram account rather, that appeared to be linked to Bryan Kohberger on the day of his arrest. And that account was following both Kaylee Gonsalves and Maddie Mogen. The account was later deleted. We will continue to follow this story and bring you any new information. For Law and Crime.
All right, Law and Crime. Thank you for joining me. That's the said information.
Okay.
Hairs, possible dog hair, blood stains on a mattress cover, pillows, 2 cuttings from a pillow, a nitrite glove, computer tower, fire stick with cord. They found shoes similar to the diamond print at the door of DM. So you have to ask all those questions. The dog hairs. Will there be a dog hair in there? If he doesn't have a dog, will it match Kaylee's dog, Murphy, that she shares with Jack?
I pray it does.
Yeah.
I pray it does. I pray it does. Can they take DNA from that nitrate glove from the inside?
It's honey. It's a glove.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a very
They test all that. Skin cells, everything. Sweat.
okay. And his computer tower they got.
Yep.
Why?
Hairs, blood stains, shoes, one black glove. They got one black glove. Let me explain to you what this nitro glove is. Black nitro disposable nitrite gloves, 100 in a pack. Size is X to XL, $54. You buy it online. The features are single-use, non-sterile medical examination gloves. Protects against unwanted or dangerous substances. Excellent puncture resistance. Beaded cuff for easy donning to prevent falling down. Ambidextrous. Excellent strength. Textured fingertips. Latex and odor-free. Keeps hands clean from dirt and other substances. Applications. Suitable for knife makers, mechanics, engineering, hairdressing, tattoo studios, panel beaters, food handling, meat handling, medical and dental industries.
Well, I don't think I knew that there were gloves for those industries specifically.
Well, but there's gloves for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need gloves for
I
all
get
kinds
it,
of
but I
work.
never thought about it, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
so
okay.
As I told somebody in the chat, OCD or not, you could have bought regular latex gloves if you are worried about germs. These are specific for basically people in certain industries. He doesn't do anything but grade papers. Who's going to spend $55 for gloves? Nitrate. They're specific type gloves. They're not your regular latex gloves. And then it says puncture resistance. Stay woke.
Oh yeah, he
So
was planning.
where's the other glove? And I doubt he just bought one pair of these type of gloves because they come in a box.
Oh yeah, there's another one somewhere, and I bet you it's with the knife.
Well, so ask yourself this: how would you have the one left behind and the other one missing? That makes no sense. You pull one glove out, you would put it in the other glove and throw it in the garbage can.
Does this man make any sense whatsoever?
Well, I know it's not supposed to make any sense because the crime is illogical. I'm just saying, if I have two gloves on, I go home. First of all, he had to get in the car. I doubt that he drove the car with bloody gloves on. So that's what you have to ask yourself. Is this a newer glove or a used glove that they retrieved from the apartment? And yes, when did he buy the gloves? So that's what's going to be pivotal. Anything bought new from those stores right before the murder. The gloves, the clothing, knife, so on and so forth.
Okay. Do you think he might have bought gloves when he was at home before school started, maybe previous to having a different plan, maybe to do someone else?
Well,
what are the possibilities?
The point is, I think he came to the school deliberately to do this. So I don't know what he bought on his way here. I don't know what he bought when he first touched down. See, we have to have all that validated. The actual date he signed in the apartment. The first time he came to look. Did he come, did everything online, and then showed up with his luggage? We also got information that his father came at some point to help move him in. We need that date, the actual move-in date. John, why would somebody need a glove to touch their own penis? Please stop this. I've never heard of anybody So what are you saying? He's so OCD he can't touch his own private parts to ejaculate?
Oh dear.
Come on now. I can't do this. This is ridiculous. I believe he's done. He's a cook bird.
I think so.
You left the shoes there. I told people he would probably leave the shoes. He would not throw away the shoes. So he probably washed the shoes. He probably washed the clothes. If they were dark in nature, he kept them. He would stupidly put them in the washing machine.
Huh. I do believe. Do you think he's going to plead guilty so that he doesn't have to go to trial?
Well, he doesn't have anything better to do. So this is all he has, is to sit and enjoy his fruits of his labor. Fruits of his labor. I mean, think about it. He knows when he goes to court, they're going to show crime scene photos. Even though it's going to be embarrassing because he's lied, saying I'm innocent, but he doesn't have anything going for him. He doesn't have anything left. He knew that once they searched the apartment, they were going to find everything on the phones, journals, data, towers. He knew all that. And he's arrogant. So you would think, you're thinking from a logical point. Well, all this is going to come out. He's done, but he's got to get something out of it still. So it'd be just too easy to just say, yeah, okay, they got me. I'll go ahead and plead guilty.
I can't imagine him pleading guilty. I really can't.
Well, he's a narcissist, so I don't see it either.
No.
Even though he's embarrassed, he's going to be embarrassed because things are going to come out that he doesn't want people to know, such as his family members, that they've got all this information and this and that. He knew all that as soon as they pulled him out of that bed. All that's going to come out. Everything in that house, the apartment, what they found, searches, all that's going to come out. All Google searches, anything dealing with pornography, the dark web, solicitation, anything, they're going to find it. Why is it hard to believe he's a PhD student, Janice? You're assuming because he was smart. That's the point. Book smart and street smart, they're not the same. You can be scholastically smart, but you don't know what color light to cross the street on. You can't chew bubble gum and walk a dog at the same time. So he's really not that smart. He's book smart, but he doesn't have common sense. There's a difference. And that has been said about a lot of smart people, that they don't have common sense. You're reading, but you don't have enough sense to know that you're in a modern day and that people could see you walking to somebody's house, parking your car, turning around in circles in the road at a crime scene that you're about to concoct. You don't have that kind of common sense. As a fool.
I have one more question, and that is, I'd really like to hear your opinion on the accomplice aspect.
You know, I'm supposed to be asking you these questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dang, Minnie.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I'm so sorry.
No, let me ask you. Do you believe he has an accomplice?
I flip-flop on that, Queen. I can't decide. One moment I do, and one moment I don't. For the most part, I don't, but there's this little piece of me that goes, there's a chance.
And if there was an accomplice, who might it be?
Exactly.
I'm asking you.
I don't know. I'm thinking it's somebody he's like-minded with, but who would that be? Somebody he's met on a board or forum or some sort of.
So you can't see this person killing the people. See, what you have to remember, this is nighttime. This is when people's defenses are down. That's why it's easier to kill 4 people at night, because this is the time that most people are sleeping. Allegedly.
You're
but
right.
I got a feeling that these people were probably up, but you still see they didn't live. Even if they were up, they didn't have a chance.
No, because they were relaxed and not expecting a damn thing.
No.
But you're right, I can't see it. It is hard for me to remember that. And
Yeah, he didn't go in the daytime. When, like I said, when a person would have the fortitude to probably reason better and get out of there. He didn't have them in a group. They were separate. So it's easier to kill when people are separate. You're talking about 3 different floors. He killed on the top 2 floors. See, we don't even know how he did the second ones. If he saw them, they were seeing him. One ran. We don't know. But that's going to be even worse if we find out there's footprints of all these people running back and forth some kind of way, and this girl ain't heard nothing.
yeah, that's not going to look good at all.
No, it's not. Because if they can show that he struggled with Xana or Ethan outside in the common area, that girl, DM, will be known as a liar. So for her sake, she better hope the altercation wasn't out in the common area. Because that means they would have been fussing and tussling outside your door.
Yes.
Or the living area. That's still right off from her bedroom. Still, you would be able to hear all that.
You would. Is that when she saw him? Through her bedroom door?
Well, my understanding, she stood in the doorway. So see, there's a difference of how she actually saw him. She didn't say I had the door cracked and saw him through the crack and he walked by. But then one would have to then say if it was cracked, then say cracked. And if he walked by a cracked door, wouldn't he think, damn, I came down before. I don't remember seeing that door cracked. See, you have to see those are all the questions you don't know. Only he knows. He, the dead people, and the one who's talking, spinning the story.
Mm-hmm. Well, Queen, I appreciate your time.
Okay.
I'm sorry I've missed your lives a couple of times, but I was glad to get to see you tonight live. You're wonderful to listen to, and I love your logic.
Thank you. That's all you have to say for this information pertaining to the search warrant, the things that were found or tested.
I have to think about it more. I'm one of these people that mulls things over for a while.
Okay.
I just got kind of riled up when that lady on there said that she was a young girl and she's used to seeing people, and I'm like, wait a minute, it can't be both.
Yeah.
She's used to seeing people,
but she froze when she saw this one.
Right.
So then that's contradictory.
Exactly. So that's why I was like, oh no.
You know, somebody was in the chat just now trying to say somebody's picking on her. Nobody's picking on her. This is her version.
I'm not picking on her.
My thing is you can't get mad because somebody's questioning what you said you saw and what you heard. That makes no logical sense to say, well, why are you asking her that? Then why tell it then? How about that?
Let's put it this way. She's the one that brought it out. Wasn't me.
Yeah, because guess what? Let's just keep it real. Due to the fact that for a whole month he was free, pay attention now. She didn't have to tell him shit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't somebody think about their livelihood? Just like everybody said. Some people have said in the chat. Well, so like to me, you've been thinking about preservation of yourself when you were there. But if it was no big deal, then you went to bed. So hell, why even tell the police you saw any damn thing? Just don't say nothing.
Exactly.
Hey, what happened? I don't know. I was asleep all the way up until 11:30 or whatever.
Absolutely. And then guess what? Nobody can question you.
Exactly. Who's going to say you were up? The only way somebody would know you were up is if they had surveillance cameras in the kitchen area and they could see you opening and closing the doors with a timestamp.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to make the girl's life a living hell, but I sure as hell want some answers. How about that?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Carter, it is obviously that the girls were up. We know 2 were up for sure. This DM has gotten up after 4, and Xana has ordered food and on TikTok. So they were up. I've never heard of a sleeping person being on TikTok or getting DoorDash. See, people don't listen to the information. Somebody was up in that house.
Queen, I've got to let you go. I've got to take my dog out.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, if you've read the affidavit, you would know that somebody was up in the house. So you can decide who you want was up or not. It's obvious somebody was up. They brought you the information in the affidavit. So you can't say nobody was up. Somebody was up. Two were at least up. And that's Xana and DM. Well, that's my sad information pertaining to what was seized from Kohberger's apartment. If you need verification, please go back to the beginning of this live stream. And also, Law and Crime Network is my source of the readings of the information. I do believe he's a done deal. He is a cooked bird in my book. He didn't throw away the shoes as I suspected. He possibly didn't even throw away the clothes. If they were dark, he possibly put them in the wash machine and washed them. But where's the weapon? What did he do with the weapon? While he was out driving that morning, possibly that's what he was doing, was discarding the weapon, hiding the weapon. Information has come out that he had been watching the kids on social media platforms. He had a target, don't know which one. The sad part is that other people lost their lives. And it's not saying he should have killed the one, but he did kill these kids. And he had to have known all the girls that lived in the house because they all took pictures together. And Kaylee posted that one picture that's been floating around now for 2 months of she and all the friends. So if he's been following these kids for 3 months, 5 months, he knew who lived in the house. He knew who their friends were. He knew all of that. So people are going to ask why 2 are living and 4 are dead. Were these his intended targets, or his target happened to have another girl in the bed, so he had to eliminate her? It's a very sad situation. But as I've said before, crime is committed in this country every day. People conspire to kill people every day. They hire people to kill people. They kill people themselves. People kill children, their own children, every day. Rarely is it an abduction. Stranger, danger. People murder their own children every day. So you can't really be surprised that somebody would go find 4 strangers to kill when a person will murder their own damn child. And this fool didn't put any thought into killing these kids. Whether he studied psychology or not, he possibly would have done this anyway because he had hatred built up into him against people and women. He's been teased as a child by girls, boys, insecure, became a bully. I don't think it would have mattered that he studied psychology, criminology. Whether he became a security guard, army personnel, he still would have had bad thoughts. So the profession doesn't really matter. It's the mindset. And his mind is jacked up. He's ill. And his parents knew that he was off. And even if they thought that he would murder someone, who's going to tell that? It'll be years before you hear that type of conversation come from a parent. Yeah, I thought my kid would kill somebody. Because most people coddle their children. And 9 times out of 10, he's been coddled by his parents, 1 or more. But he's almost a 30-year-old man who can't make friends easily, can't conversate easily, can't talk to women. He was doomed anyway Because how are you going to live in a world just going to work, coming home? That's all you're going to do. You can't navigate with people. You can't talk with people. You can't get along with people. You're going to have a problem. And we're all different creatures. And opposites do attract. Opposites hang with each other. But at some point, there's got to be some commonality to keep a friendship, courtship going. He was doomed because he didn't make any attempt to try to be a better person. That's on Kohberger. That's his fault. That's nobody else's fault. Thank you, Laura. That's my said information pertaining to this. The glove is very interesting to me. I'd like to know, why was there one glove found? Because that's very interesting. And I just gave you information again to the type of glove that was found and the purposes it is used for. And definitely nobody would buy that type of glove if they just grade papers. He didn't do anything strenuous for work. He didn't work in the healthcare field. He wasn't a welder. He wasn't a tattoo artist. He wasn't a hairdresser. He wasn't working with biochemicals. He read books and graded papers. So there was no need to buy that type of glove. And then the gloves are expensive. They're not even cheap. Naturally, you can probably find them cheaper than $55, $54, but it's principle. Why would you need them? Hair is found at the scene. Do they belong to the victims? Will they be blonde hair, dark hair? He has short hair. So what would blonde hair be doing in his house, and what would they be doing there if they belong to these dead kids? Bingo card. Shoes. DNA found on the shoes. Will there be DNA from the young people on the shoes? Visible blood stains. Confirmed blood stains. Blood stains on his linen, pillows. Is it from him not even washing his hair, coming home, just getting into bed and lying down with bloody hair? Because you're stabbing someone, that blood has to go somewhere. The blood has to go somewhere. And blood can get in the most oddest of places. I have heard that before with people who've been hurt, deceased. Blood was on the inside of their underwear. Blood could get down in the inside of the underwear of the perpetrator. And you can't get blood out. Clothing, cloth. And he would be stupid enough to have kept the darker clothing, went to the scene of the crime in some ordinary ass shoes. This is how stupid he is. You didn't even think to just go buy a cheap pair of $30 boots from Walmart to trek up in these people's house and kill them. You're going to wear your regular shoes to a crime scene. A bloody one at that. And naturally, the scene probably was horrible because you're talking about 4 dead people killed with a very big knife. So it's going to be bad. Then you also have to ask the ultimate question, which is very prolific. How many times did he stab each victim? Where exactly were the worst parts of the stabbing on the victims? Then the person has to walk out with a dripping knife and go downstairs, either encounter somebody in the hallway or living or kitchen or living area, and then made his way to kill these 2 kids in a room that you can't even see from the kitchen. You can't see it from upstairs. You can't see Xana's room from the kitchen. So what made him go around that wall from the kitchen to the left of that wall to kill this girl? because Xana's room is out of sight. We probably won't get that information until trial. If somebody was confronted in a common area and they took off running towards the bedroom, and then he stabbed them fatally in the bedroom. So Ethan, Xana died in her room. Were they approached in that room? I don't know. So that's the whole point of the story. You got to know if lights were on inside of the house, in the kitchen, in the hallways. Are there hallway lights? Was there a light on in the living room? What time did Xana pick up the DoorDash? Was she able to pick it up? Or did somebody else stand there pretending to be the DoorDash guy? So you have to ask all those questions. Because BK was there after 3. So what was he doing for a whole hour? He's maneuvering with the car at 4:04 a.m. So now you got to ask, what time did he actually go into the house? What time did the girl pick up the DoorDash? Was she able to pick up the DoorDash? Was the food eaten? So you have to ask all those questions, because this will give you the timeline of how he got in, what he did when he got in, and how long it took him to kill each victim. Did he pretend to be the DoorDash guy? Did he pick up the food if it was planted outside and brought it in? Why was this door unlocked for him to get in? Slider or front door? Because we don't know how he entered. It's just an assumption he went through the second door slider, because DM tells us that's the way he exited. But then what's the truth to the door being open at 8 a.m.? Why would that door be open? Front door. Who's that witness? And will they be testifying about the door? And that will make the plot even worse. If somebody actually goes on the witness stand to say they saw the door open at 8 a.m. See, there's a lot of stuff missing in this story, because we don't know really what happened in that house. We just know that 4 people were killed, but we don't know the time he entered, what he did when he got in. Only the evidentiary material is going to show us where he started. I assume he started at the top floor, because that's where the sheath was found. So that means he got up there, pulled the knife out of the sheath, or the sheath fell off up there in the bed. It's very wicked. This is a wicked story. And I'm sure Kohberger is very disgusted that all this information is now out, because he knows eventually what's found on the computer is going to be revealed. And I'm sure it's not going to be nice. All his Google searches, all the apps he was on, deleting of accounts, fake profiles he had of himself, stalking other people possibly. Did he have a hit list? Somebody new on the list to stalk? Was he also stalking somebody else at the same time he was stalking the girls? Who was the intentional target? And did he only kill the other people because they were in the way, such as one of the other girls was in the bed, didn't want her? Somebody heard him up there. He comes down. They tussle, then die in the other room. And then we have 2 remaining people, one on the first, one on the second. The second floor person, DM, is the one spinning this version. But is it the truth? Because it is strange that 50 feet away from Xana's bedroom, distortion of noise, crying, a thump, and dog barking has been heard on someone's doorbell camera. So if they can pick that up on a camera, why can't somebody in the house hear these noises? Unless they were in deep sleep, such as the person on the bottom floor. But DM on the second, some will find that hard to believe. You're entitled to your opinion. I want to thank you for joining me. When I get more information pertaining to this crime, I will bring you an update. He goes to court June 26th, his next court date. Will he plead innocent or not guilty? Will he say he's insane? Will he just fold and just get a judgment from the judge? Will they seek the death penalty of the state? And what other details will be introduced in this case before court? A lot of people are now starting to speak and talk. So there'll probably be more versions and stories pertaining to BK. There's also a rendering from a woman who did his hair. She's come out to speak how ill she felt knowing he was arrested, and she's cut his hair. But that's what people do. People talk eventually of their encounter with an alleged suspect or a perpetrator. And how do his parents feel now hearing this information being released about the apartment? No way they can sit here and say he's innocent. They'd have to say, yeah, this does not look good. Because if the hairs come back belonging to the dead people, it's a wrap. Because now you got to explain how dead people's hair is in your house, your vacuum cleaner, your car, your clothes, on your clothes. How would a dog hair get in your house, your car? How are you going to explain that? And you're not going to be able to put this off on some random person. Oh, I made friends with Joe Blow, and he had my car, he had my phone, he tracked the hair in here, he stole the knife. Oh, it was his knife. Oh, I held the knife, the sheath before. He used my computer, my phone, and looked the girls up. He pretended to be me, following the girls on social media. No damn way. Nobody did all that. We have some diabolical people, just like him, who would try to set a person up, pretending to be them, opening up accounts in their name, stealing their emails and different type of things. But that person would have to have access to your personal effects daily. And I doubt that's the case with Kohberger, because he didn't make friends easily. Hit the link, T, before I check out of here. Hit the link, T. You can't scroll up and get it, sweetie? One moment. She come right when I'm about to check out of here. 1 second. Oh, she found it. Okay.
Up soon.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
How you gonna come on my chat late? Goodness.
I know. Well, my thing, I've been sitting here listening and cooking at the same time.
Okay. Cooking this late, now you know what a queen numbers.
I know.
Don't
I
be
know.
doing that eating late, honey, because I gotta stop that. I finally went on and ate something tonight before going live because I rested most of the day because I was just exhausted. But as you know, information has come out pertaining to the search warrant. They've released it. Have you heard all of the information?
Just some of it. Just some.
Lord.
But the only odd came in and I was like, wait a minute. As I was sitting here thinking about girl DM, I guess it's her initials, I keep forgetting. What if all that is backward? Because I know people in your chat was like, she didn't see a knife. What if it was she woke up at 4 and saw him coming, like going by? He went by her. Everything is backward.
Okay.
Because she had to have been awake during this time.
That means, because I've said this before, you got to decide if you believe everything that she's saying.
Right.
So if he came towards her, what did I say earlier? Towards me mean he would be coming from the gate, from the slider into the place.
Right. Because that would be a reason why you shock and lock your door.
Okay.
You literally watched this man go out the door.
Okay,
Why
so
would you lock the door?
but she said she saw him leave. So leave and coming are two different words, right?
Okay.
So this is her version. I saw him leave by the slider and I shut my door.
Okay, because me, I was like,
But let me tell you something. We don't really know what she saw and didn't see. This is her version, like I tell people. So it would be fucked up if you find out she saw him come in through the slider and then she was opening and closing doors while he's doing all this shit, and then also watched him leave out the slider. Shut up.
right. Because me, I'm just saying, I'm keep trying to grasp the whole in shot. He saw me.
Yeah.
I'm going
So
in
now
and
you
out
gotta
the
ask
door
yourself,
3 times.
So why is she getting a pass? She's blonde hair. She's nice looking. What was it about her that was worth him preserving her life? And I'm sure people would say, well, that's not a nice thing to say, but you can't deny.
Right. I mean, after all, he has killed 4 people.
Right. So that's the point. All this shit, he was in a tunnel. Tunnel vision. He was tired. He was sleepy. He was this. We don't know because we weren't there.
Mm-mm. Because
Let me go
I
ahead.
just kept trying to figure it out. So I'm like, you're a roommate, but you can't distinguish whose voice said there's someone here.
Yeah.
What if you're the one that said there's someone here? Because you're not giving that name.
But then why lie about it, T?
I don't know. Let
me ask you this. Human to human. Do you have a bad feeling about this Dylan character?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to mention one of the items found in his apartment, okay? And I'm going to read you the description of what it is.
Okay.
A glove was found at the apartment. It's a nitro glove. And I'm going to read what I found on artisansupplies.com.
Okay.
Black nitro disposable nitrite gloves, 100 pack, S through XL, $54. Features: single-use, non-sterile medical examination gloves. Protects against unwanted or dangerous substances. Excellent puncture resistance. Beaded cuff for easy donning and to prevent falling down. Ambidextrous, I don't know what that word means. Excellent strength. Textured fingertips. Latex and odor-free. Keeps hands clean from dirt and other substances. Applications: suitable for knife makers, mechanics, engineering, hairdressing, tattoo studios, panel beaters, food handling, meat handling, medical, and dental industries. Why did they only find one of those? Was it used or unused? Because naturally, when you buy any type of glove that's latex or whatever, it's going to probably come a bunch in a pack.
Unless someone gave you some.
So as you heard here, but think about what you're saying now. These kids go to college and they're studying basic stuff. I doubt that any of them are in that field to even have access to these gloves. Stay woke. You know damn well he bought them damn gloves, T.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't nobody gave him gloves. Psychology major, you don't do anything with Greg Piper. So why would you need those type of gloves? Number one. Where are the other gloves? Okay. Where are the other gloves? I also brought you information that he sent his DNA in for the ancestry checking testing.
So he was the one that did it?
No, listen. He's done it.
Oh.
So we don't know if they found it that way or they just checked his father's. But the point is, or they checked automatically. The point is, why would you do this and then kill these people months later?
He's the smartest dumb kid out there.
Okay. I'm going to read you what's in the warrant that was found at the house. They recovered a possibly blood-stained mattress cover, human hairs, glove, and a computer from the University of Idaho suspect BK's apartment. I'm trying to skim over stuff. Okay. Police executed the search of his residence in Washington State, December 29th, as Pennsylvania police and SWAT team had raided his parents' house and taken him into custody in the early hours of the morning. According to the search warrant, the Washington State University Police seized two cuttings from an uncased pillow with a reddish-brown stain, one nitrate-type black glove, 8 possible hair strands, a possible animal hair strand, other evidence including possible blood stains, which were sent to the lab for testing, which could all potentially link Kohberger to the crime scene. Pictures of police removing items from the residence were exclusively captured by the Post. Also, diamond patterned shoes, patterned soles from some shoes, matching footprints found at the murder scene as well. And remember that the footprint was at DM's door, as well as data compilations of information about the victims. There you have it.
So he took, from what I'm gathering, stuff from one of the bedrooms, including the pillowcase.
This is his stuff, baby. Look, this stuff is stuff they took out of his apartment. So basically, he got blood on the mattress cover of his house, his pillow.
You wouldn't have thought to take a shower?
That's what I told people. If it's on your pillow, that means you lied down with bloody hair. There's no other way to say that. Or you lied down in the clothes that you killed the kids in.
Like, I thought match up with no OCD.
How would blood get on your covers, your mattress cover, and your pillowcase? That makes no sense.
No.
That's why I try to explain to people. You don't know what he did at the house. You don't know what he did when he got in the car. You don't know what he did when he went running around Idaho trying to get rid of the weapon. You don't know if he threw away his clothes or not. You now got to explain why is there blood stains on his linen unless he gets nosebleeds, he's shaved. You decided your interpretation.
Right. I don't know. He's been arrested and it's still mind-boggling.
Well, it ain't too much mind-boggling. It's just the fact that these kids didn't pay attention to nothing. Because let's go here, and I meant to mention this earlier. If indeed Kaylee was the one being stalked, because she's mentioned having a stalker, did she ever see him out somewhere, or it was just he kept on trying to notify her through these messaging systems on a platform? And she kept, probably delete, block.
Right.
Or did he go up to her somewhere in public? Or she saw him out somewhere? Or she was in her car driving and felt she was being followed. What is the truth? We're never going to know because she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nobody to tell us that they thought it was him because those people are dead. It's bad.
It really is.
But they've got information that he was tracking them, following them on IG. So he's jacked. Fake profiles. Also, one of the profiles has been deleted. So when did he delete that one?
In order for you to follow him, I mean, I understand they have like suggestions.
And that's what I told people. Suggestions are going to come up in your feed when you're on Facebook and IG. Also, when you put in people contacts from the apps, their suggestion will come up. So let's say I met somebody, let's say on a date site, right? Eventually, their suggestion is going to come up because I put their contact in my phone, their phone number, which is very scary because I've seen that happen. Their suggestions come up in a short while after meeting them on Facebook.
See, I don't know, because even although these apps suggest people, what made him want to add her?
Well, see, we don't know.
That's
the point. We don't know if he moved out there deliberately to kill, which I think he did. He was out looking for people to hurt, harm. He saw the suggestions in IG, Facebook, or whatever. He started fixating on the photographs, and he made him a target. Because one, he was messaging, but she did not reply. They won't say who it is.
I don't. I don't
So
know.
more than likely, he's never been to the house inside. They didn't invite him over. He didn't crash a party. It's just he saw him on social media and became fixated. I can say that I've had somebody message me, sending friend requests every few months. They send friend requests after we've already talked, and it wasn't nothing. I wasn't interested in that way. Just certain things about the person I didn't care for, and they honestly told me when they first was messaging why they sent me the friend request, this and that, because they just happened to see my picture. They didn't know me from a can of paint. But we have mutual friends. So that's the only reason why at first I accepted them. But then once I started talking to the person, through Messenger and everything, the conversation was dead to me. All of it was dead to me. It was nothing there. Then they started playing a phone game, and I thought, this is something off about this person. And every blue moon, they'll send a request to try to be my friend on a certain application, and I just won't. I
won't accept it.
Well, no, because I've already talked to you before, and I don't like the conversation. I don't like things that I know about you, that you've admitted about yourself, things that I just don't want to have any dealings in.
Right. I don't know. I don't know, but it, like I said, it just clicked in my head, and I was just like, "What if it's backward?"
Because he was coming in the house instead of leaving,
right? And then that's how she's able to hear the reaction.
That means she's lying because to cover up the fact she didn't call 911. If that's true,
yeah.
If.
Right, because I mean the things she was hearing and stuff.
Yeah. So I think, if I were to use my own deduction, my own opinion, that she knew what was going on and she just turned a blind eye. She heard scuffling, stuff, people going up and down the stairs, whimpering, crying, and thud, and she ignored it because she puts herself there opening and closing the door. If we're to believe this is a crime of about 15 minutes or less, you can't be asleep opening and closing doors. That's common sense. And everybody knows that when you start hearing stuff strange, you will stay awoke just to listen. Even if you are sleepy.
Yeah. And I'm trying to put that in that kind of scenario of the beginning is what she had saw. She was hearing things as things was playing out. Yeah. There's a camera that has a dog, the dog barking. She said something about the dog and one of the girls playing with the dog.
At the beginning, that's her first commentary in the affidavit. I thought I heard her playing with the dog. So what people are going to say is, what did you hear exactly? Her talking to the dog, or just the dog jumping around and barking? Because a dog barking doesn't mean I'm playing with the dog. So that means you'd have to have heard her say something to the dog, like, come here, Murphy, blah, 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 something like that.
Right. And then the whole, there's somebody here. If I heard there's somebody here, if I'm awake enough to hear there's somebody here, I'm going to open the door.
Right.
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 And then you've got that she heard a male voice saying something to the likes of, it's going to be okay, I'll help you.
And that could have been Ethan talking to the girl dying, Xana. He could have been saying, hey, baby, I'm going to help you. But shit, he couldn't help his damn self. It's Jack.
So,
because you don't know what's the truth.
Right. So me, I'm just like, you're hearing all this stuff.
That's strange.
And you're going in and out.
But then it's not strange. So that's the whole point of all of it, though, T. What is it? Because opening and closing the doors is what's suspect to me. All these odd conversations to where you could hear it, but yet it's not enough for you to say, shit, let me just go out this room and see what the hell's going on with all this talking.
Right.
Or just shut the damn door completely, lock it, and go to bed.
Yep.
Mr. Ball, we know all of that, sweetheart. Thank you. We know that he messaged one of the victims. All that's been in my commentary at the beginning of this live stream. Please feel free to go back to the beginning of this video to get all that said information. And I've also brought that information yesterday.
Like that's the stuff that I can't get past the living roommate's statements. That's what I can't get past.
Okay.
Considering the scene and what has happened.
The close proximity too.
I cannot I can't get past that.
It's just like what I've told people. I don't live in a 3-story house, but let's just say somebody was visiting me and staying in my other room. There is no way I'm going to be standing here, just like what I'm doing now on a computer, and some stranger just walks in and I don't say nothing. Do you see where I'm going?
Right.
I don't say nothing. Rather, it's they walked in, broke in. I have a visitor here. I'm assuming they're coming in for the visit. It don't matter. I still stay here and I have grounds to say something to you because I live here. That's why I said earlier in the live stream, the setup was a recipe for disaster because in the end, you have to stand account for what goes on inside of your house.
Right.
Just like the police was coming there August, September, somebody has to stand account for the noise. And that's why the officer was saying, hey, next time I come back, it's a $300 fine. So it's not going to matter if you part of the noise or not. If you the fool to open the door and he wants to hand you the citation and the whatever, then you got to pay the $300. So that's why I said, why would anybody want to live like that in a house unless you down with that type of living? Because let's just say one night there's a party, but you ain't in a party mood. What do you say to somebody? Hey, keep it down. See where I'm going? It was a recipe for disaster. Somebody walking through your house, you coming out the shower with a towel. What if there was a guy standing outside? Whoops, you jump. And then he push your ass back, drag you to your room and assault you. This was something was going to pop off anyway because they had too much traffic. And once a person noticed other people living on different floors, anybody could have went in a room and hid during a party. See, you have to think about those type of things. You're talking about 3 floors of places to hide, behind a door, in a closet, under a bed. Man, something bad was going to happen to these kids. Because you had too much foot traffic. And you just got random people coming in and out. Just like when they showed the video, Law and Crime. The police walking up with the camera, just some random girls walking, talking, hey, yeah, we leaving. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you don't lock doors. So you keep a lot of company, people drinking under the influence. You know, a lot of people can't hold liquor. Some people become violent drinking. Nobody's locking doors. People coming in and out of doors. Anybody could have just been standing and watching and could have just walked on in. Somebody coming out. Oh, hey, how you doing? He's speaking. You say hello. He walk on in. And he could just be sitting in somebody's room waiting on their bed if the doors wasn't locked. It was a bad setup. And then you got 3 floors of where you can't see any damn thing. I'm telling you, nothing good was going to come out of that many people living in the house, that many people entertaining. You are asking for trouble. Then, too, could have been a neighbor that killed them. You sit up and raising hell every day, having parties and stuff. At the end, I thought maybe one of the neighbors killed the kids.
That was my first thought, was a neighbor. I would have never thought like a stranger, some random dude. But my thing was someone close within that area.
Right.
But I don't understand it. Yeah, I'm from here. I'm from East Tennessee, and you can leave your doors unlocked and stuff, but nowadays you cannot do that. So I don't understand why this generation thought that it would be okay. And then considering that it is a party house, do you all not have valuable belongings?
Exactly.
Like, you don't worry about someone coming in and getting? Like, I didn't understand.
And that's another point. Somebody can just come case out the area. Case out. They got a flat screen over here. They got a Blu-ray player right here. Anybody could come in. One dude, remember, somebody left a backpack out there. Go in there, steal your stuff, and walk right out. Nobody know. Think you got beer in there.
No, that was something I really couldn't understand. Was that whole?
See, people want to use that excuse. Well, they're young. That's what young people do. No, they do not. Because
So do they do it at their parents' house?
That's a lie. I was a young person. I also attended college. I didn't do no living in no rooms and roommate situation. I got my own place when I became grown. at their age. Got my first apartment at what? 21? So that's a lie. Everybody don't navigate the same. Everybody don't have people running in and out of their house. And I would say this to you, if you weren't a college student, you keep a lot of people in your house running in and out, doors don't lock, you will be subject to the same type of fate. Because
you're inviting any and everybody in.
Exactly. And then if something pops off, that trouble comes to your house, you better have nothing to do with it. But somebody's coming to look for Pookie, Ray, Becky, and you open the door. Oh, hi, how you doing? Blow your damn brains out. No way I would ever stay in no house with that many people. How are you sharing all the bills? Water, lights, gas. Somebody decided not to pay their portion of the rent. That's I don't even understand how even a landlord would even set that up. And then that's another thing. Did the landlord get complaints or the management company about the partying? Did somebody call in knowing who owned the property or managed the property and was saying, hey, these people keep parties up, this, and this, because somebody in the chat the other day said, well, why would somebody complain if they're a student? And I'm like, well, everybody's not the same. You trying to judge it according to your thought process. Other people had lived in that area that probably are not college students. And you heard that one guy who lives up the hill from them. He's not a college student. He works in a restaurant. So everybody's not in tune to parties on the weekend or through the day.
Right. Not everybody's off on every weekend either.
And then too, those kids were partying on those videos. They were partying. It was early evening, like 5 o'clock in August.
No.
So 5 o'clock with your boombox playing. Yeah, it's during noise, a time of day when you can make noise 5 o'clock in the evening. But maybe if I live next to you, I don't want to hear your boombox at 5 in the evening, 12 in the afternoon. See where I'm going?
Yeah.
That's an assumption. All the kids that live around there, that's nothing but college students. You can't assume that because they don't have 26,000 people in the town. So you take it for granted that everybody that lives in that general area are college students and they don't mind listening to a bunch of noise. You can't speak for everybody.
Now, I remember when I had my, it was my first apartment, and there were college students living below me, and these dudes, you didn't see anybody coming in and out their house. And then you had like across the road and 3 houses over from my apartment, there was a house that was rented to college students, and even they didn't have a bunch of people in and out their house. Like you wouldn't see a bunch of cars and stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, but I can't understand that.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Everybody is different, whether they're college student or not. You have kids who probably room together and they don't have a lot of foot traffic. I just don't recommend a lot of people coming in your house, period. I don't give a damn if you're a college student or not. You're asking for trouble to have random people just in and out of your house, sleeping on the sofa, crashing on the sofa, moving in. That's another thing. Somebody, them girls could have just picked up some old dude and have him coming in the house. You don't know nothing about him. You don't know what activities he's got going on. And then some shit pop off and it could have went down the same damn way.
And another thing, when I would hear,
go ahead.
When I would hear party house, even when I was younger, I was thinking fraternity and sorority houses. I've never thought of the party house is literally where college students are living and they throw parties all the time. That never clicked in my brain.
Okay.
And even in my younger years.
That's why I said everybody lives different, and it wouldn't be because of you because you're older now and that's not your focus.
Yeah.
It's how younger people are living. But I can say for myself personally, as a young person, have been a young person, it has never dawned on me to live in a roommate situation. I did it in the dorm, but once I got on my own, it never crossed my mind. Oh, let me go get a roommate, have somebody help me pay the bills. I wouldn't give a damn about that. I'm not rooming with nobody. The only time I'm gonna room with somebody is if it's a mate a man, or we dating, or we're married. You understand what I'm saying? It's never occurred to me to have no roommates. I don't want no roommates just because I know how shit can jump off. I know people come in your house, they steal out your house. People crash at your house. Before you know it, you got 4 or 5 extra people staying in the house, and they're not paying any bills. They're not giving up no money. They eating up food. They using up water, this and that. See, that's how I think. That's kind of mindset I have. I'm not about to take care of nobody else. That's me.
Oh,
and the first time I see something of mine gone, missing, broke, I'm 2 minutes from becoming an arsonist. Let me hush.
I get it. I mean, that's one thing. When I had mine, my mom was like, "Don't get a roommate."
That's just queen. I go in my room. I got to now lock my room because now we got all these people coming in and out. Let's say at one point you didn't even have to lock your room, but now because Susie did want to bring all these other people in, you now got to put a lock on your damn door. And what about the common areas such as the living room, the kitchen? Now people are using up stuff, eating up stuff you buying. That's not going to work. It's not going to work.
And then you got to do an inventory list, make sure your stuff's not missing.
That's why I said that life never occurred to Queen. So I'm looking at these kids, and I know each of them got their own set of friends, and probably same friends. Why in the world would you agree to live in a house that big, knowing it's going to cost a lot just to heat and cool the house?
Right.
And for those who say their parents could have paid, these kids are grown, and they had jobs. I doubt the parents were footing the bills for school, food, rent, water, lights, gas, cell phone, car note, car insurance. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Well, I got to get off here.
Thank you, love.
Thanks for having me on here real quick.
Anytime. Right. Thank you, T.
All right.
All right, everybody. That's T, my mod. Both East Tennesseans. I thank you all for following the content. As I said, when I get more information, I will bring an update pertaining to this case. I'm sure there'll be more evolving information because people are now coming out speaking about Kohberger and who he was as a person, school friends, students from the university, people at the apartment housing, a teacher has spoken out, and also a professor has spoken out, online professor. So I'm sure there will be more. And then we will see if anybody has anything else to say about the victims. Naturally, Ethan's parents have come out and spoken. One of his former employers have come out to speak. You can catch that information on the ABC documentary 2020 and also CBS 48 Hours. And Dateline has also done a story piece on this crime. And I'm going to try to find the Dateline rendition of this crime. I recommend both the CBS 48 Hours and ABC 2020. I finished the 2020 this morning. It's a very good piece. I want to thank you all for following the content. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129, Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. This is a very gruesome tale, and we will see what else comes out before June. What plea will he give? Will he fold after hearing of the information? And there's something else I'd like to say before I check out of here. The lawyer, let's talk about her briefly. She has to be livid right now, thinking this information wasn't going to come out until March. And now it's been released, and it's not even February. Shut your mouth. So I'm sure Ms. Taylor is highly upset. Now, Ms. Taylor, what is your defense plan now with the shoes found, the glove, hairs, blood stains being checked? Because that's not even including what they found in the car. We have yet to get that from Pennsylvania because his car is in Pennsylvania. Also, what was left behind at his parents' house? Did he take an iPad, computer with him there? Stay woke. See, there's a whole lot more to the story as far as evidentiary material. Will evidence come back from the lab of dog hair, long blonde strands of hair at the house, on his clothes? Did he keep some of the clothes? He obviously kept the shoes that he used. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And what was the purpose of the glove? Those type of gloves anyway. He graded papers. He didn't do anything vigorous or strenuous. Kohberger, you fucked up, bro. You just fucked yourself. You are indeed a cooked, overly cooked bird. And if you had any type of common sense, since you've been sitting in that jail, you would fold and let these people rest and grieve for their children properly, because you're just prolonging this situation. Just plead guilty and be done with it. Save the taxpayers' money on a trial. God forbid your lawyer wants to move it out of Moscow, Idaho. That would be some more trauma, drama. People having to run up and down the state of Idaho to go to court. Taking all the evidence in a secure storage facility. Just a bunch of hassles when you know you killed those kids. And the evidence is not looking good thus far. Data pertaining to the kids in your house computer, you following the kids on Instagram or Facebook, and anybody's entitled to follow a person, but it still shows cause of how you came to know the kids and sought them out and executed a plan of murder ×4. How are you going to refute any of this information? Because if blood comes back belonging to these kids, hair comes back belonging to the kids, dog hair comes back belonging to that dog Murphy, you are done. Thank you for joining me. You have been listening to The Vault.